we will consider your wish, because you can't make decisions as a child unless you are becoming one of the Ascended and branding yourself with the thread of the dark side. That's the only thing you can do as an 8-year-old. You could just become one of us. If you ask any questions, no, you're not allowed to, actually. Here, have some spice creams, the drug from Star Wars, but in cream form.
And that's why the Immaculate Conception of those twins goes entirely against the... Okay, hold on. Hold on, I can't see in this thing. I can't, let's do this for real.
Look, everybody's got something to say about Star Wars: The Acolyte right now, and its implications on the Star Wars canon. Some of these critiques are entirely justified, as it's just, frankly, not a good show. The dialogue is rough. The characters are hard to connect with. The motivations behind all the characters, at this point in time, we still have yet to understand everything fully. But we're 3 episodes in, and frankly, the series is kind of boring. Like very, very boring. And you may already be enraged by the things that I've said, and I hope you enjoy it. I hope you find some joy in this. I want to find joy in this. I wish I could like it like you. And what I'd like to do in this video is go through and identify some scenes that I actually have some critiques on and talk through them. Now, if we go through this and you find some value in my commentary and this content, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. I am the real-life fake wizard. Now, we're going to go right ahead and jump into Star Wars: The Acolyte, Episode 3. It would appear here that Osha is actually weak in the Force. Like, it's clearly she's Force inclined, but her disappointment on her face makes me think that she's weak in the Force. Now, this isn't something I think the show has addressed yet. I don't think we know yet why she stopped being a Jedi. And of course, this episode is the backstory from the previous 2 episodes we've seen. I'm not going to do a breakdown video of those because they're boring as
Let it go, May.
Is May a sociopath? Because that creature was not going to do anything to her, and she's clearly using the dark side. Now, May is the killer in the show, like that's supposed to be the whole murder mystery, but she's the killer, so it's not really a mystery. We already know. But why would they set up the child to be so inclined to be drawn to the dark side? I don't know, are these coven of witches just full-on dark side users, as I think that they are?
I'm with you. Always one. As above sits the stars, I give you you, and you give me me.
This isn't cute. This is creepy. Now, I know they're part of some kind of a coven of witches, and the witches have their own way of thinking, but this feels cult-like. Firstly, Osha didn't want to say it, to which point May stops and kind of forces her to say it. Very much plays into this whole power of many nonsense that they're going to get into a little later on. I like when you look in the background here. I'm not going to talk about the Zabrak and how the kids don't have the Zabrak horns, because, oh, spoilers, that's their mother. But if you look in the background, you see where the white kind of smoke is, where there's just nothing beyond those trees. It just feels so empty, and it just feels so cheap.
May we have some spice creams?
No, they're for drug addicts, because spice in Star Wars is a drug. It's a very powerful drug. And so that makes me think somebody in the Lucasfilm headquarters wasn't paying attention when this thing was called Spice Creams. It just, you could name it anything, Spice Creams. Spice is already in Star Wars. Spice Creams seems lazy.
Mama!
Have they not seen Mother Anastasia in some time? This reaction that they get feels like they haven't seen her in a long time. When you see your parent, do you charge at them like this?
My sweet girls must have sweet treats.
Again, have they not seen each other in a long time? Because these reactions make me think that there's been a time delay between when they've last seen each other. Otherwise, it feels out of place. Because, like, if they see each other every day and this is how they talk, well, that's just unbelievable now, isn't it?
Meet me in the common room for your training session.
I do want to say I think Jodie Turner-Smith does do some really great acting in this episode. It's just the lazy and horrible writing that she's given to work with is what's disappointing here. I think the actors in this show, while the kids are acting and they're kids, and I can't really fault the kids, because they're kids, and kids acting is not always that great. The acting by everybody else is okay. It's not bad. I don't think anybody really has a problem with the actors. I think they're trying to do the best with the absolute drivel they're given. Now, a lot of people are complaining that these two are allegedly in a relationship implied by this scene here. I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with them having zero chemistry at all.
Living things are connected by the same thread.
This scene here, I have some problems with it, and yet I think it's okay, but then I still have problems with it because it is just an explanation of the Force and how a group of witches may perceive the Force. The problem is that the implications of the way it's described, and actually even including this scene, makes it feel like the writers or the creator of this show wanted to put their stamp on the way that the Force is. And so by calling the Force the thread, it's my stamp of approval for what the Force actually is to me. I don't think it takes away what Yoda says or what Ben Kenobi describes the Force as, but it feels unnecessary and forced. It's something that's been added here that didn't need to be there. It doesn't break everything, but you'll see in a moment where by including this scene and this description that's given, they go back on it almost immediately. They actually make a contradiction of the explanation in a moment. Let's go ahead and get back into it.
But we know thread is not a power you wield.
Pay very close attention to what she just said. Seems like she just wielded the thread.
The power of one.
I don't understand what they were trying to demonstrate. I've watched this scene a couple of times. I've spoken with other people about it. I don't understand. And especially based on what she's about to say, what's the point? Okay, you blasted the first person. That's the power of one. Clearly you overpowered them. And now you've overpowered both of them.
The power of two.
What's the value of the power of two? You've overpowered them with the power of one and the power of two. What are you trying to say? I don't understand. It's like, I don't care that you bring the thread in, but this whole demonstration here is pointless, and it's just which together strong. Is that what it's trying to say? This is dumb. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe you figured it out in the comments, but I don't know. I've been looking all over. I don't think anybody's figured this out. This is nonsense.
And tonight, you will experience the power of many.
I would be forgiving. I would be forgiving if this didn't use these nonsense platitudes, this nonsense jargon, and actually planted a flag at what that means. What does that mean? Is it the dark side? Because they do dark side things later on. Okay, she's using the Force, they're using the thread, but what is the power of many? What is that supposed to mean? It doesn't look like Osha's doing anything, so it looks like May is holding up pretty good there. May can hold up as the power of one, so does the power of many mean anything at that point?
I don't want to do the Ascension.
Why? Why doesn't she want to do the Ascension?
But that's how we become witches.
What is going on that the child doesn't feel comfortable becoming one of them? Assuming that she's only ever seen witch culture, why not? Like, what is going on here that the child is questioning the realities of the coven? These are things I'm genuinely curious about, and I wish that they would tell us. These are things that unanswered questions. Will they answer it in the future? Probably not. Probably not. We've got 5 more episodes of this nonsense, and it's probably all going to take place in the present time of the show.
Of course you want that. No.
So May has clearly bought into any kind of witchy, cult-like indoctrination. And of course you want that, trying to speak for Osha. I know that this is like Star Wars, and at some level it's supposed to be for kids, but I feel uncomfortable watching this. It doesn't feel, I'm not rooting for the witches don't seem like good people to me.
Hold hands. The thread tied you together before you were born. Tell her you love her.
I love you.
This feels so cult-like and forced.
Ascension is about It is about sacrificing a part of yourself.
The girl doesn't want to sacrifice a part of herself. It's uncomfortable, and I'm uncomfortable watching it.
Power of many instead of the power of one.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
But that is because you are young.
Which is exactly what a cult leader would say.
The galaxy is not a place that welcomes women like us.
Okay, that's a very charged statement there.
I want you to stay special.
And you wouldn't be special if you left the coven? Leaving the coven means you're no longer special? It's a kind of a tough thing for the mom to say to the kid. I don't know. I doesn't seem like a healthy relationship there. Look at this stone structure. This stone.
How many spice creams are you gonna eat tonight?
What is the nutrition facts on a spice cream?
Stop, don't look. I share everything with you, and you hide things from me or run off alone.
Because you cannot have independence. You will be one of the many, the power of many. Okay, so the Jedi meditate, right? What is this? What is this? Like, what is this supposed to mean? What are they doing? Channeling the dark side? We've never seen anything like this before at this level, and I want to know what it represents. If they're using the dark side, which is what some would call our power dark, so it's the dark side. That's very dangerous, and the Jedi have every right to be tailing them and watching them and keeping tabs on what they're doing. They've done nothing now to make me think that they're the good guys. They're not a thing.
We were on the brink of extinction.
What are they doing that they need to make that sound?
The gift of life.
Look, I know that this show wants you to be sympathetic to the witches, but I'm not, because you put this in any other context, they're the bad guys. This is a horror movie, and these are the bad guys, and in the end, they're all dead anyway, because they're the bad guys, and this is a cult. This is some kind of a creepy death cult. I feel for Osha because she looks terrified.
What the thread has tied together, no one can separate.
See, that makes it feel like the thread and the force are not the same, unless that line is just nonsense.
Power of one, power of two, the power of many.
This has been memed to death already, and it's only been out for a few days. What the hell is the power of many? Oh, this is stupid. This makes no sense. The power of one, power of two, power of many. You defeated that purpose yourself when the power of one beat the mother in the force pushing competition, but the power of two lost in the force pushing competition. So what does the power of many mean even at all a little bit? Makes no sense at all. This is stupid.
The power of many.
Absolute cringe. Absolute cringe.
They will be here any moment.
The hero Jedi finally show up. Now, they didn't save the first one, but hey, maybe they could save Osha. What I do want to know is, how did the Jedi find out that there was kids here? Like, unless they're up to no good, why would the Jedi be looking into these witches? This show wants to paint the Jedi to be a bunch of bad guys, and I'm not buying it. Now, I know that something's going to happen, and I'm sure we're going to get the reveal that the Jedi are bad or they've done something wrong. But as of right now, you can't say that because it looks like they're the heroes here.
That you are training children.
Which is a genuine concern when you're the Jedi watching Darksiders training more Darksiders.
Rendok is not a part of the Republic.
Where is their father?
They have no father.
That should be a gigantic red flag. For the Jedi, that should be a massive red flag. This makes absolutely no sense. Why the Jedi would take off his weapon that could be used to harm everyone here and hand it to a child who has no idea what this is. All you got to do is push the wrong button and boom, impaled.
Yes.
There's been commentary online that, well, why would Osha do this? You know, and later on, she's going to say things like, well, I want to be a Jedi. I want to be a Jedi. And, well, how would she know what a Jedi is? She's crying for help in the first moments of the show, of the first moments of the episode. She doesn't want to be here. She doesn't feel comfortable here with her, I guess, and family in more than one way. Anybody who's gonna help her, she's gonna latch onto. So her saying that she wants to be a Jedi, I don't actually have any problem with. I thought the thread wasn't a weapon to be wielded, but apparently she could dark side knock out Master Torben like he's nothing.
If you want your Padawan returned to his right mind, just you or leave.
Oh yeah, something a good group of people would say, a good character would definitely do and say things that sound like this.
You cannot deny that Jedi have the right to test potential Padawans.
That could so be argued, though. That's a really rough line and a rough argument, but I think it's something that the character might say. Indara might say that. If they already don't respect the rules of the Republic and say that this planet's not in Republic control, then by saying, oh, well, the Jedi have the right to test for Padawans, well, we already don't respect the Republic. Why would we respect the Jedi, which don't have jurisdiction here either?
I carried them.
I created them.
Okay. Now, these lines is setting the world on fire as far as the Star Wars fans are concerned. Why? Well, because this takes away the value of Anakin being created to bring balance to the Force. Not many people understand that balance, according to George Lucas, had nothing to do with like an X and Y value. Like balance really means that there's no dark side presence and that the light is just in control fully. And the Force in the prequels created Anakin because of the dark side magic that Palpatine and Plagueis were conducting. They were trying to mess with life. The Force created Anakin to destroy Sidious and Plagueis. What does this mean? And again, we're early on here, but the implication that Anakin is less special. This is only episode 3. I'm hoping they dive more into this. But this is awful. This is awful that they would do this because now they've set the bar really high. They need to stick that landing. They need to deliver on what they're setting up here. Firstly, this needs to remain in the same canon and keep Anakin's legacy, which means that this is dark side manipulation. They're using the dark side to make children, which means that there needs to be a rebound of the Force and the light side to counteract their dark magic. Also, why couldn't Sidious and Palpatine accomplish this? They failed. They were playing with magic, trying to influence midichlorians. They couldn't really create life. Sidious says, well, maybe together we can discover the secret. They failed. They couldn't really do it themselves. So these witches could? This opens up so many doors to issues that disrupt the canon. And it doesn't need to be that way.
Did I discover how you created them?
See, clearly there's some kind of dark side manipulation there that the Jedi would say this is not good.
How will we know how to fail?
How will we know how to fail? The mother is telling the kids to lie. My parents yelled at me when I was a child, and I lied, as I'm sure yours did too. This is not a good lesson for anybody to be taking away. This is not good. And if you want to keep using that argument that Star Wars is for kids, is this something we want to be telling kids? I don't think so.
They take you, I will stop them.
What are you going to do, you little psycho? What are you going to do? You're going to burn their house down? Oh!
This is about power and who is allowed to use it.
You use the dark side, lady. This is about power and who's allowed to use it. Well, there's a lot to unpack there. But if you're using the dark side, you're probably the bad guy here. There isn't this conversation, this kind of fight doesn't really exist in Star Wars, or at least it shouldn't, because throughout all of Star Wars history, there's very clearly a good side and a bad side, and most of the dark side users fully embrace the fact that they're evil. You know, they do awful and terrible and malevolent things. So to again put into Star Wars that you can question the concept of malevolence and that malevolence is not in and of itself bad. This is for kids? I don't think so.
I want to be a Jedi.
I want to get out of here because this place is terrifying and I want to get away from these psycho commie witches.
Then you must have the courage to tell the truth.
A good lesson from the Jedi, who are the heroes of this damn show. I know that they're gonna set up that the witches were misunderstood and that they were attacked, but you must have the courage to tell the truth is a great lesson. And I don't understand why they're trying to structure the Jedi to be the bad guys.
I want to be a Jedi, Mama.
Get me away from this psycho commie cult.
I must discuss the situation with everyone here.
She's trying to tell you she wants to get out. She's telling you, I don't want to be a witch. She's been against this since the moment the episode started. I don't want to do this. I don't want to be a witch. I don't feel comfortable here. She looks terrified. She tells you she's going to join the Jedi. Does she know what the Jedi are? No, but she's desperate to escape this lifestyle. And even still, gotta consult the rest of the us. Gotta consult the power of many, because the power of many makes the decision, because one of us.
But we will consider your wish when we do so.
We will consider your wish, because you can't make decisions as a child unless you are becoming one of the ascended and branding yourself with the thread of the dark side. That's the only thing you can do as an 8-year-old. You could just become one of us. If you ask any questions, no, you're not allowed to, actually. Here, have some spice creams, the drug from Star Wars, but in cream form.
You can't go. I'll kill you.
You can't go. We love each other. We have to stay together. But if you try to leave, I'll kill you. The witches are not the good guys. You cannot tell me that the witches are the good guys when this is the child. You know, this is the child that wanted to torture the small animals in the beginning of this episode using the dark side. The dark side. Because there is a difference between good and bad in Star Wars.
Hey, please!
Why could the doors be locked from the outside? I know a lot of other content creators have pointed this out. That doesn't make sense. That is the most flammable stone and steel I've ever seen. Is this the Grinch, Jim Carrey's Grinch movie garbage chute?
Mama's dead.
I'm assuming there must be a time gap in here somewhere, that something happens between when we see Osha crawl out of the chute to fast forwarding here, which is a very different location. And now everybody's dead. Please make it make sense. Make it make sense.
What have you done? What have you done?
What have you done? What have you done? Osha didn't do anything. Everybody dying from that little lantern. It shouldn't work. I hope they come up with some explanation or something, like, or give us something else. Or there's got to be a better explanation than this, because this is a stone mountain fortress that they live in here. I'm sure that they're going to paint it like, oh, it's the Jedi were involved. The Jedi did something and that really sparked all of this. But if this really is May threw down the lantern and this exploded, well, then this is shit. The other two Jedi in the back just stand there because they got to stand there for FaceTime, right? Because they provide nothing else to this scene but standing there. The hero Jedi save Osha from the communist witches. I don't even need the rest of the season. I'm happy with this. This is good. This is good. Good work. Good work, everybody. Oh, May's alive. Okay. All right. That's enough. I don't care. All right. I'm done. I'm done. Let's wrap this up. Let's wrap this up. All right. I want to thank you for watching this breakdown of the Star Wars Acolyte Episode 3. I'm going to board my ship now and fly the hell out of here. Yeah. So look. I want to like Star Wars. I love Star Wars. I want to like new Star Wars. I want to like Disney Star Wars. I don't go into things wanting to hate it. I go into things wanting to love it. And regardless of all the commentary online, I make my own decisions, just like you should too. You should decide what you like or don't like. You shouldn't listen. If you like this episode, I'm glad you liked this episode, and I hope you do. Don't let whatever I'm saying discount what you like and what you don't like. But that being said, nonsense storytelling with an agenda implied, and that agenda may or may not be political, but the agenda I see is somebody trying to alter the legacy of Star Wars. And that's what the problem is here is that it's being written from a place of bad faith. Look, I'm gonna be very frank with you. This is the like 4th take I've done this. I've never done anything to this level before, so I'm exhausted and I'm done, and this show sucks. If you enjoyed this or you got some kind of value out of this, you want to see me do more of these, please hit the subscribe button. Consider liking the video. If you didn't like it, I thank you for watching for this long. If you agree with me, let me know in the comments below. Would love to engage with you there. And until next time, my friends, I want you to create, innovate, and inspire. Take care, and may the thread be with you. Yeah, the thread, that's some stupid shit.